Heart disease among Filipino Americans. Filipinos make up the third largest Asian American population in the U.S. Besides COVID, the leading cause of death for this population is cardiovascular disease. Out of all Asian Americans, Filipinos have the second highest mortality rate for heart disease, which takes up at about 35.6% of total deaths among Filipino Americans. But first, what is cardiovascular disease? Cardiovascular disease refers to any disease or disorders of the heart and blood vessels. It's usually caused by increased blood pressure and cholesterol building up in the arteries, which blocks blood flow, otherwise known as atherosclerosis. So why are Filipinos disproportionately impacted by cardiovascular disease? Well, stress is a risk factor for this disease, and Filipino Americans experience racial discrimination, which negatively impacts their health status. A study found that Filipino Americans that experienced more discrimination were more likely to be older, have not lived in the U.S. for long, and to speak a Filipino dialect as their primary language. Despite taking up a large chunk of the Asian American population, Filipino culture is not as well known or appreciated. There is also a lack of studies concerning Filipino Americans. This lack of knowledge leads to microaggressions and racist acts. By preserving and protecting Filipino cultural heritage, it would make the public respect and be more aware of Filipino culture. So, what are some strengths of the Filipino American population that we can build upon to reduce the risk of heart disease? Well, their very rich cultural heritage and their strong sense of community and resiliency. Since exercise is a protective risk factor for heart disease, traditional folk dances such as the tinikling will increase physical activity and reduce their risk of CVD. Filipinos also value community, and relying on systems of social support like their family and the church community are protective factors of CVD. I'd like to end on an excerpt from a rap song by Easy Mill called Panalo. Tayo ay Pilipino. Kahit anong kulay ng balat isa sa puso. Mapatagalog, Bisaya o Ilocano, walang tatalo sa bagsik ng ating dugo. Isigaw ng malakas ang ating panalo.